Hey everybody, my name is Sky. There is Kiko. This is the Ups and Downs of Raw podcast. I am raw vegan. Kiko is high raw. Raw food saved my life, completely helped Kiko. And you've been doing it for 21 years,
Yeah.
which is amazing. And hello, by the way.
How what?
Hello.
Hello.
I
I
was just
heard,
saying,
I heard, hi, raw, are you? I was like,
oh,
why you?
hi, raw. It could be like that, right? So Kiko has just been on a, 70-kilometer bike ride yesterday. I'm very proud of you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, while my husband and his friend is suffering on cross bike, I had a electric bike. I was like, woo, 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 woo. It
Zoom
was,
as you speed past him and you're like, bye in the dust. See you later, sucker.
you know, I love this. Think out of the box because no one bikes in the mountain with this kind of electric bike. This electric bike is meant to be for city. Like a mother with lots of food on their basket. That kind of,
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see that. It's not like the sports bike. Everyone goes with the sports bike. And I go with this kind of bicycle with the big basket, right? That you can put a
Oh,
lot of
that's so
food.
cute. I thought you were going to say
And
that's
I'm
where I hide the engine so nobody knows it's electric. And I'm just like,
and then like, I'm going like this, and then uh, they're all men in a good, excellent form, and they're going like this, and then the mountain is very sharp, and I'm just going like this. They're looking, they're just looking like me. I mean, no, you didn't. I mean, no, you didn't come by an electric bike. And I'm like, oh. But yeah, it was.
oh,
I slept. Yeah, and I
I
slept
love it.
so well. I was just sharing with
Oh.
Sky. I use a sleep app to keep a track of how well I sleep. I do sleep really well every day, but last night was 99.9% efficiency, which I don't know if I ever got that score. So
I love that. That's amazing. Now, you said something really important because today we're talking on excuses are everywhere, and here is how we show up, and that is think outside the box.
mm,
I
yes.
promise you, if you don't do that, you are not going to get very far in this lifestyle. The first thing you have to do is when a struggle comes up, like a 70-kilometer bike ride, for example, is you're like, no, I can do this because I will use my electric bike. I'm better off doing these long rides with an electric bike because many people, we've become very protective. And then I think we get to a raw lifestyle. And when we go, oh, I can't be raw because of a restaurant. I can't be raw because of my family. And I think even so, Jillian posted a video, which I'm in, of her family and what they eat. Each person eats differently in her family. And that's very common. I remember growing up, my sister was gluten-free. I was always trying diets to help
Oh.
my disease. Dad ate normally. Mum might be. And so I think you've got to come at it like, how do I do this? Not, I can't do this.
Yeah, definitely think outside of the box, all the time to be unique and just go with your own way of living, right? Because there's no, we are not a cookie cutter, and we have their own story to own trauma or whatever in our life that you have to be flexible to and see what works for you.
100%. Like, I think it's so important. You've got to know what something's worth to you as well. Like, I think when you don't go raw if it's not worth it to you yet. Go plant-based or vegetarian or vegan. Go where you are willing to do anything to be
Mhm.
different than the majority. Like, you are
Mhm.
going into, especially when you're raw, you're going into that 99.99999% of people do something different. So
Mhm.
without thinking outside the box each time, it's not like I can't go out for dinner because raw. How do I do this? And it's like, well, I bring my dressing, or I bring a little bag of like crushed nuts, or to put on top of a salad, or like, you've really got to want it. And I think that's why people, you have to really want what you're doing to show up for yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And this bike ride, I thought that it's not possible, right? Because my husband and his friend, they've been going on a bike ride for some time, and we I mean, excuse Kim is definitely everywhere. It's like, oh, I'm not strong enough, or they're men. I don't have enough. I don't have a adapted bicycle. And I'm thinking, I mean, why not? I mean, I could try with what I have, or and if I want, really, I could buy the cross bike. But oh boy, I'm so happy that I didn't buy that cross bike because I mean, what I have, I can. I don't know if I would have been joy. I could have definitely done with a cross bike, with this like sports bike style, but it would have been a pain for me. And with the electric bike that I have, I still have to work a lot, but it was a very joyful experience. And you can make up your own story, right? Like, raw vegan. If like a lot of people are confused, what is raw vegan? Like, oh, and because 21 years ago when I started, what's what's the norm to be a raw vegan? It was not a norm. Like, it was not accepted as a raw vegan food. For example, natto. Natto.
Mm.
I started to see raw vegan eats natto, and that was not part of it. So you make up your own rule. Find what you like.
So it's so important, and I've really been diving into this lately, because, and I'm the biggest advocate for this. I'm the biggest advocate that I'm not here to tell you what to do, but you've got to find all these different things people are doing and make your own, because otherwise if you come from a place of lack, you will default back to what the 99.9999999% of people around the world are doing, because it's everywhere. The way we are, monkey see, monkey do, right? Is so your brain just imprints what's around it. So everyone around you, hamburger or whatever they're eating, and you're seeing that. You are primed to do that. So how
Mhm.
you show up for yourself, to me, my whole lifestyle was made out of coping mechanisms. So like, I know I love variety and flavor. So doing my recipes, it evolved as a coping mechanism. And because I see all these people doing different things, do I need it all the time? No. But if I want to have my raw pad thai or my raw pizza, I want to know how to do it. And I think when it comes to raw, like, I have things like, well, it's powder. I mean, it's green tea powder that I have, or occasionally I have protein powders. If I don't do that, I can't stay raw. And I always think back to, and make it yours. Do not, like, if
Mhm.
you are a raw vegan and your whole spiel is talking about other people, something is wrong there. Like, you've really got to keep talking yourself through your own confidence, what you're building,
Mhm.
and let other people see. And now, another example is, I always say, uh, I don't want to be like, you need to go raw, you need to go vegan. I want what I do to speak so loudly. People are like, oh, wow, I want to try that. The initiative comes from somebody else. And I experienced this when I watched Jillian's video, her having what she eats in a day. And she's doing like a lot of omegas. And in the video, she's even says, I mean, she's like, not telling you to do this. This is what makes me feel my best. At the end, and because I'm talking to her most days, and she's like, I just love what I'm doing, I'm like, I need to get back to this, because doing the omegas, because sometimes I go off to into the fruit, like it's more summer now, or I need to try to find this more grounding way again, because I did it a lot in winter, because not because she's told me to do it, but because she's so electric, that I want to do it. And I think that's what people need to remember. Let what
Mhm.
you do speak. Don't speak for what you do.
Yeah.
Like,
Definitely.
do not be like, I'm better than you because I do this. Be like, I do this. And look, I'm like, I got up this morning running. I booked Pilates at lunchtime. I've got clients this morning. This afternoon, I'll do editing. And, like all these things I get to do are because of basically I eat to look after
Hmm.
myself. And that's a really
Yeah.
good way. I have no excuses because I want my life.
Yeah, and I noticed like everyone around me just slowly become raw vegan without them knowing about this term raw vegan. I always bring this big jar of green smoothies. Like yesterday when I go went for 70 kilometer, which is about 43 miles bicycle cycle road, and I brought the huge green smoothies, and they people are just uh curious, like what is that gigantic thing, and I'm like so energetic and I'm happy, and they start just incorporating, and I don't realize it, but a lot of people say, let's say like my friend used to live here close to me, and so she sees me eating a lot of raw vegans, so she eats lots of raw and stop eating animal foods, and then when they
Oh,
yeah, and then when they move away, their diet completely change. It's uh, we don't see each other that often, so but whoever comes close to me, it just by default it just becomes they become like high raw. So
I also believe it takes a lot of strength and willpower to go raw. And I almost feel that build, you could call it confidence, but it builds a pull where you've
mhm.
got like it's not physical strength, but it's an unbelievable amount of mental strength. So it's almost like I feel like I'm pulling people up. If that makes
Mhm.
sense, like because the
Yeah.
strength just keeps going, and so you're becoming this really strong vortex. When everybody around you is ping pong and doing the same thing, they don't need the mental strength, and the mental strength becomes your reality. But what you find is when you overcome or learn to do one thing, and just say that is, first off, you might be eating a lot of processed food and you work really hard at getting rid of that, and then you get rid of meat, and then you get rid of dairy and eggs, and then each of those is a skill set in itself. And I feel like when I'm around people, is people see that. Like I notice my niece says, like, where's the watermelon juice? Did you bring me some celery? Have you got cucumbers? And my sister goes, I think it's just your food they like. I try to do this at home and I don't think they're as interested.
Oh,
And then
wow.
around me, well, they do off the back of seeing me, especially when Addie was like little. She'd go, her mum would then take her to the fruit shop and she'd be like calling me, what do we do with oranges? I'm like, cut it up, put it in the freezer. She's like, oh, I love this. What about a kiwi? What will I like a kiwi? Like really invested. And I didn't say anything. It was like a little
Mhm.
adventure for her. And she comes back to mum and goes, what's this fruit? What's this? And that's all I want to bestow. And you know what? When it comes to excuses, this just helps me more. It just keeps leading me into being like, I am making a difference. Not that it's all about that. A lot of it, I just always focus on if I feel good, people around me feel good. I
Yeah.
don't need to be like, hey, I have this, I have that. Oh, I can do this for you. I just, if I look after myself, people seem to want to
Yeah.
be around me more.
I mean, no one wants to be told, right? Like, no one wants to be told, like, you should be doing this. And we are just attracted by people who are happy and, doing what they love. And just, they don't, yeah, it's just subconscious that, like, oh, that sounds good. It might not be logical in their mind. Like, people know what they shouldn't be eating junk food, but,
Yeah.
that it's just all around, and if they are surrounded by people like us who are happy and eating vibrant food, and that just makes it, it's like, oh yeah, why not, and they start using eating that way as well.
I think there is a limit as well to what people are humanly possible of. So this is what I was so, and I say this all the time, I wanted this so badly when I went raw. I was so real with what was possible. So I knew it wasn't possible when I reconnected with my family to sit at a gathering for 5 to 6 hours while they eat and indulge in things like, especially coming away from being an alcoholic, and all these foods. So I was like, it's not that I can't go or that I can't do this. It's what can I do? Maybe it's
Mhm.
about not going, what can I do? But it's like, what is possible? I feel like the universe wants you to build this strength in yourself, to believe in yourself, that you have to say, you become different. But
Mhm.
people question it. It's literally like, do you want me healthy or not? And
Mhm.
fundamentally, you don't want to be around someone who doesn't want you healthy, but you have to
Yeah.
even sometimes believe when other people don't believe yet. Like
Mhm.
you have to do it for yourself. So, for example, it was possible to be for an hour and a half at the start. It gets longer, and now I could come and go, and it wouldn't even bother me. But it's like learning to ride a bike. Like
Mhm.
you can't do the 70 kilometers, straight off the bat. You have to learn with training wheels on. And my
Mhm.
training wheels are like, you have to face each situation with, what can I do?
Mhm.
And you have to stand strong when you leave. Like, another thing is, if you have to be in a situation, like a lot of mothers have to stay around Christmas Day, they go to a relative's house, is you excuse yourself. If your kids are young, just say, can someone watch the kids, and go out in nature, take your shoes off and just be with yourself for a bit, take a few deep breaths. It really, like, I have done this and it really does help. Like, you've got to find a way through. But also, I would just organize for my whole family to leave early. That's how much my health is worth, because you want to be here for a long time for your family, right?
Yeah.
By you saying, I'll eat crap, it's like saying, well, I don't want to be here long term for my family. And that makes
Mhm.
it harsh for people, but that's what the universe wants, the whole package. It's not just right now. It's like, how do you feel tomorrow, 10 years from now, from what you do today? And if you are
Mhm.
very aware that you feel sick the day after and that you're not feeling good over time, the universe is hearing, well, I will not be here for my family. Whereas you leaving, saying, family, we're going today for 3-4 hours because I need to do this. This is for me. Like, I really think it's about making like those compromises and finding a way to do it.
Yeah, we have to realize that each one of us deserve to be the best form possible, and just ourselves, you know, like I cannot know what's best for Sky, right? Like I get to know you a lot, and I think I might know what's best for you, but Sky is the only person who knows what's best. So, just to put it to perspective, my family might put their best in me, but that might not work for me. So I have to take my responsibility to be the best version of myself, and I can't
Yeah.
let anyone to take care of me, right? Not even my husband. He might think that what's best for me, and if I let him take in charge of my life, I would feel miserable, and I would, the worst thing, I would feel so grudge. I feel resentment,
Yeah.
right? And that's the worst feeling, to feel that way for your loved ones.
Yeah, and I think you said it true, is we have to start taking responsibility. This is what it's
Mm.
all about. When I worked out that I felt so good on Raw, I was like, well, what else have I just blindly believed in? Because we go to school and we're told all of these experts know more than us. So we got to take in their knowledge. All that did is tear me apart. So I was like, Sky, you now get to feel this out. You're going to take responsibility, and this is even when we've brought up it's not that pharmaceuticals are bad, but they all have side effects. They're all not great, right? So you want to be looking up, take responsibility, do everything you can. Don't be the person who takes a heart medication and then leaves and has a hamburger. That's not
Mhm.
really telling yourself, or you take responsibility. And then when something more goes wrong, it's like, well, the doctor gave me the wrong, and it's like, then you become a victim. And when you take responsibility for your past, your present, you get to dictate your future. That was one
Mhm.
thing I learned, is by accepting responsibility, that everything happened to me was my choice. Like, I
Mhm.
truly believe that nature was always in my face. I could have fought
Yeah.
for it, tried it, experienced it. Plus, I learned a lot along the way. It's all me. And then
Yeah.
and that is huge for me, because that means I have total control of my future. If I give any
Yeah.
victimhood away, I lose control in one area of my future, and no one holds that now but me.
Yeah, such an important point. This victimhood, it at first it seems so easy to be, oh, I'm this way because my parents didn't raise me this way. Oh, I was abandoned, or oh, I had huge trauma when I was small, and that's why I'm carrying this heavy bag on me. It's like, yeah, excuses are everywhere, really. And I remember when I started to my career on coaching, and one of the lessons that we had to learn was how to be accountable, how to be responsible for your own act, right? And this is about not just about yourself, but working as a team. How that's they learned that being accountable and be responsible is the fastest way to grow your own your company, get to the goal faster. And I love this concept because I was raised in a way that excuses, like excuses are great, like, oh, I'm so tired, I work so hard, so why not just stay on the couch and eat a bag of chips or chocolate, I deserve it. And no, it's, if you need to take responsibility for your health, happiness, and to do so, there are certain things that we all know what we should be doing. And yeah, so it's this is so this topic, excuses are everywhere, and it's such an uh, important topic, or something very we talk about with Sky and I, like, we should uh yeah, be responsible, be accountable to what you do, to realize what you want. It's just faster. I'm sorry, I'm just going around. It's just when you choose to take full responsibility, it just makes it easier on a long run. That's what you were saying, right?
Well, I feel like we think that people actually, like, we need, like, it's like that if you have victimhood, you're bonded to someone or something in some way. And what you have to remember is that person possibly doesn't really think about what you're thinking about. So you hold
Hmm.
this projection on
Yeah.
about, and I'll give you an example because it came up, is Kiko knows this, my family knows this, close friends know this. I can get really sick, like really sick, like including near death, where I'm needing blood transfusions and fluids. As soon as I feel good, I've got this learned ability, I think because I got sick so young, to sit up and be like, okay, let's go. I'm going to go to work tomorrow. Even to the point, because I was like, when this can be a histamine issue. And yes, a lot of the time histamines were flooding my body. But when we're talking about, I was even telling you, is I was drugged one afternoon when I was at this bar, or this, like, it was like a restaurant thing. It was weird that it was the afternoon. And I was in the bathroom. I don't know whether you heard this message yet, Kiko. I was in the bathroom and I
Yeah,
collapsed.
on your birthday.
I think it was my birthday, yeah. And I collapsed, slammed my head into the hand dryer and was paralyzed. And there was girls lucky I was in the bathroom, because I started to go, what is going on? And they dragged, because all this vomit started coming up. But I could see, but I couldn't move my body. And they moved me to the bathroom to try and get me to vomit so I wouldn't choke on my vomit. And I could see and feel. I was a bit numb, but I couldn't move. Anyway, ambulance came, took me to hospital, had concussion, but the drug wore off very quickly. I would say within 3 hours. And my dad, my friends, everyone's around me. And I sat up, and the only question I asked was, can I get to work tomorrow? So it's not just histamines, it's like an adaptive ability, right? In doing that. But a lot of the time, why I bring this up is because a lot of people's victimhood is around what others think. And yes, for about 10 years of my life, no one believed I was sick. So the only person I think was my grandma, including my family, my sister, my mum, my dad, I think occasionally they did. They didn't know how, but no results were coming up with doctors. Blood tests were fine. It was like, you don't have anything worth being this sick for. And this went on for about 10 years, until all of a sudden I was flooded with, they were pulling out diseases, stomachs, all of this type of stuff. And so because the reason I'm bringing this up is a lot of people I work with say they have trauma from when they're younger, and it revolves around other people. It's not like I fell off a motorbike when I was driving. It's always about someone else's perception of them. Now, I could be angry about this, but I actually spend a lot of time, it's probably why I don't read, going through at when these things come up and why did the people see it like that. You have to remember back then, chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, and things like this were not recognized as, first signs of illness. Epstein-Barr was not a thing. They didn't even have blood tests for chronic fatigue back then. So that came in later. So I'm just like, and you have to understand, these people are going to school and they're working. Most of their day is not thinking about me. We think people are constantly thinking about us, but they're not. And as time went on, people learned, and I've got lots of support. And even I think when I wasn't truly believed, there was still a lot of care around me. But that's not trauma. That's just my life. And if I cannot see that as every time something comes at me, but I have trauma, and they start doing this, I have so much trauma.
Everyone has trauma.
Everyone has to. If you're
Everyone
on earth right now, you do. But what right now can you do? Even if it's you having a blended smoothie in the afternoon, that's amazing. Focus on that for now. And yes, there'll be times where these things come up, but I do spend a lot of time in somebody else's shoes because I've been judge and jury for other people in my life, and it's a me problem. Like I look back, if I'm judging, it's very clear now. When I start judging people within a few weeks, it comes up for me that I had something to work on always. And so it's never about other people. It's always about the lesson you're going to get and what can you learn from it. Because if you keep going, I'm traumatized, you will never go, hey, but this is, okay, I want to say the caveat here is when trauma first happens, there's a natural rhythm. Like when there's deaths around us, when we get some shocking news, you're allowed to feel all your emotions. But 2 years later, you want to have worked through some of that. You don't want to be still sitting in that trauma, because that will be the biggest excuse you have to just very easily, I cannot do this because I have trauma.
Yeah, and yeah, I totally agree. And again, being a coach, I've I coach quite a few people for business and personal, being a personal coach as well. The person who achieved their goal faster are the one who face their fear and work on their fears right away, instead of, oh, I'm tired and maybe I do it next month, let me do this. And I see that they tend to suffer a lot longer, when they try to, not just, oh, find their excuses.
Yeah.
And because I want everyone to be happy, I try to encourage them that, to focus on the short term, to work on yourself. Yes, excuses are everywhere, and yes, it's true, we have to be gentle on ourselves, and we have to find our own journey and rhythm to get it work. But I've noticed that, if they come up with their excuse, they are never going to achieve their goals or dreams. And I see it right away, as a
Yeah.
pattern, who achieves it.
Yeah. So for anyone watching, we are raw vegans. We only eat raw, fresh foods. Because someone's just asked, do you mean meat? But this is, so what can happen as well is when we decide or choose to do something, the first thing, and this is where we are still sitting in victimhood, the first thing that comes up, it's very protective, is why we can't do it. Why we can't do it, or we've tried it before and it's where we fail. My greatest suggestion is don't overthink these things, because you start to ruminate. Like it starts to become like a hyper focus where you stay in the trauma longer. Is if you eat raw and you socialize, you are going to have to find a way. Okay, first of socializing, right, is if you aim to take something with you and you fall off, I promise you, only you will learn the consequences of falling off, because you'll feel like crap. It's like if you then want to choose to always eat like crap, you're always going to feel like crap. It's kind of like that simple. There's no other way around it. Like, and the more you do your raw and then you've got a weekend social event and you eat like crap, you once again will feel like crap. And it's like asking yourself. So that's where you've got to make, in socializing situations, you've got to be the advocate for yourself,
Yeah.
especially at the start. You're like a little baby. You're a
Mm.
brand new little baby at this. So you have to advocate for baby you who's just learning to do this. And that is that I be so real. I cannot be at a family gathering for 5 hours. So tell
Mhm.
your family, that you are leaving at this time, or if they want to stay, your partner can stay with the kids, or you can leave. And it's about strength. It's not supposed to be easy. If it was easy, everyone would be doing it, right? And feeling
Yeah.
amazing. You have to work hard. Now, when it comes to your family not being supportive, you have to just ask them once again, do they want you feeling like crap? Because every time, just remind them, because they'll forget. Every time they say, hey, I've made this, their brain is, it's not they want to hurt you, their brain is
Yeah.
programmed to give you pleasure. They think they've made this, and then you'll go, every time you ask me that is you saying you want me sick, because I do feel my best version in raw. And it
Mhm.
will be easy on them too, because it's new for them. It's not that scary. But if you do fall off, make sure you learn from it. Like, don't be
Mm.
like, okay, this food's made me feel like crap. Now I'll eat it every day, so I always feel like crap. Just get back on. Just,
Yeah.
just get back on.
Yeah, I love this comment. Thank you. The more you know right now. I love this comment. Yeah, that it's so true though. Like I have been on the raw vegan diet journey for over 21 years, and I still go through. If I'm surrounded by people who eat cooked food and junk food, I would be uh you know, it would be just so much easier for me to eat the same way as they are. But I know my body would fight so much if I eat not non-raw vegan food. So I know the consequences. I've shared with last podcast with Sky that I was on I work as a tour guide, and being with clients, I just I was eating with my client on a vegan restaurant, and I started to feel the negative effect. And it's always trial and errors for me, even after over doing this diet for 21 years. Even with raw vegan diet, right? Like I learned not that nuts doesn't really work for me, like cashew nuts or even sunflower seeds. There's certain things even in raw form I don't digest it well. So I have to work, and as I age, my body might be craving for something different. So I have to find my own rhythm. But this
Mm,
unsupportive family and friends, um, just like Sky, you were mentioning, we don't know if they're really unsupportive or not. They might think what's the best for you is completely different. So we all have to take our responsibility and say, no, no, this doesn't work for me, and I'm going to bring my own food. And if they're not comfortable, I'll just skip it. Like I shared, I
mm,
don't go to my family gathering when the food involves, because it's not comfortable, and they don't understand it, but it's okay. It's not their life. It's me who would suffer if I eat
yeah,
something they offer. Like I would have to scratch all over all night, and I won't be able to sleep. They wouldn't know that, right? So
yeah. And also, you have to remember, we think people are always thinking about us. People
mm,
are people don't have the energy. And if they are projecting, it's only for a moment. Then they're like, got to get the milk, got to get the kids. My period's coming. I've got the kids at a party. Their brain is just, and we think people are constantly thinking about us, but they're
mhm,
not. So when
yeah,
someone that drives past us in a car and is like, F you or whatever, I don't know them. They're not going to think about me again.
yeah,
They're just projecting, and that moment it feels really bad, but they're just
mhm,
not going to think about it again.
Yeah.
But I'm jumping a question here, but I did want to just bring up May free flow. So everybody does have trauma, but everybody processes it differently. The key is to be able to feel the emotion and sit with it. But depending on the trauma some people have experienced, it can be very hard. So what I will say on that, I've been coaching now for almost 4 years, and I'm around like I speak a lot of people, even people that I might coach for a little bit or that I connect with. One thing is very clear: nobody moves forward if they believe they have a trauma block. I've never seen somebody. What I do see is when I see people, and this is my experience, when I see people who want to sit in their trauma, do know if you sit in it, you are strengthening neurons. So you are rebuilding pathways every time you think or sit in it or talk about it or feel it. Now, it's very different. The emotions that you get when you are traumatized are very protective, and you will ride a wave. And yes, in the future, it will come up. But if you, for example, and I studied psychology, wanted to be a psychologist and went to psychologist for 12 years. If you show up, this is an example, every week at the same time, you sit there and you start making these connections stronger, but not just in the session. You will actually do it before you go. You'll also do it after you go. And you will also think about it during the week. So that's one level from when I was sick. But what I've noticed is the people that sit in their trauma seem to get deeper into it, and they keep saying they're very emotional, and they keep telling me they're going deeper. Now they're going deeper. Now they're going deeper. Where I find, and I've had a lot. I was in bed for 15 years. I actually missed my entire childhood. I had about 4 years. So you would say I have a lot of trauma. The only way I finally healed it was to build new connections, was to, instead of me finally being like, this happened to me, this is so bad, I need a psychologist, I need to sit and go through it and go through it and go through it, was to go, I'm touching the flowers now. I'm in the water now. I'm going for a walk now. Do these emotions come up? Yes, but because I'm creating new brain connections, they start to become stronger and stronger and stronger. And they're the strength in my brain now, as opposed to what I did. What I did for so long was continually sit in it, talk about it, and essentially try and dig deeper and realize that and then eventually when I healed, it was so enlightening to finally see that, to rebuild over. But as I said, it doesn't mean when the event happens, and it doesn't mean things will come up. But if you sit in it, the brain only works by strength, by what we think. And that's how manifestation works as well. And that is my interpretation. Everyone's open to theirs, because I only have my experience and what I've seen. But that's what I've experienced with when it comes to
Yeah.
healing.
I totally agree with you. And everyone has their own way of healing and dealing with their life. And again, I am not saying that this trauma is not, you know, we all have
Not
trauma.
real.
We all have way to cope our trauma. For me, how I deal with trauma is, or something that extremely difficult happened in my life. I usually like to dive into what happened. Some people prefer not to see it. They would just like to cover it and seal it and put it aside. But I know if I do that, I can smell it, I can see it, always
Yeah.
back of my head, and it's just taking up so much in my head space. So I prefer to just open that box, smell it, even if I hate it, and I want to find out like what can I do to, so that like what happened, how can I prevent it? And then once I smell it and identify it, and because as a human, if we don't see it, it's more scary, right? Like we are scared of something unknown, so I like to see it so that I know I
Mm,
can identify it. And then I let myself grieve. Like my father passed away this year, my mother passed away 7 8 years ago. And I for the first 3 months, I think I just opened it completely, and I just run towards it. But after that, yes, of course, there injustice. There's because my my mom actually died on an accident. And we went
Mm,
through some trial. I had to hire a lawyer, which is a rare thing here in Japan. But at least I
mm.
opened that box and
Yeah.
dove into it, and then it's like, this is life, you know. Things
Mm,
happens, and how can we face for what happened, and find the use the creativity to see how can I live my life to the fullest. Do
yeah.
I do I keep saying, oh, there's so much injustice, and it's not fair, la la la, and then
Yeah.
I cannot live my life.
Yeah. And look, I don't think you know the full story of my family and not being believed for 10 years. And actually, the breaking straw for my change was a physical event that happened between my family. So, and I was what I thought through a period that I was abandoned, I was homeless at my absolute rock bottom. And there's so much more I could go into. We're not talking about where the trauma comes from, because I mean, I've got missing organs. I missed my entire childhood. I don't know if there's more of a trauma than missing the first part of your life, but it's about our perception. That's what we're saying. It doesn't matter where the trauma comes from. You can say your trauma was worse in family. I can say mine was I missed my entire growing up. It's not like a competition here. It's how we perceive that
Yeah.
trauma.
Mhm.
And I haven't met, in fact, you usually meet people like we have a lady here who was burnt alive. Um, she's a runner, she's a public speaker, and I can't think of her name. And she was running through the outback when the bushfire came and was burnt alive and in burns it. She's all melted. And you would think someone like that could go, I can't get up. I'm going to end my life. She's a motivational speaker. And is her trauma worse than ours? I don't know, but it's how she sees her trauma. And it's not taking away that she probably mourned, and Mayfree, you probably have mourned, and I've mourned. But it's about what we do with what happens to us that will change our life. Because so far, I haven't seen anybody get the healing they want if they have a block. And so it doesn't matter, anybody out there listening, what your trauma is, there's no competition. It's about what you do. Like you see it, as you said, Kiko, and you're like, what can I learn? What can I
Mhm.
do? Where can I grow? You don't have to understand them, but and a big thing about just if it's all family trauma is what I realized when the event happened, being homeless, and especially in psychiatric units where you're thrown on the floor, you're left for weeks, you go to the toilet on the floor, is I could blame the hospital, but this is an example is I chose to go, you let yourself get that sick. You
Mhm.
chose to use scripts where people control you. If you start putting you first and you're not in a psych hospital, or you're at a party with your family eating celery and not drinking, they can't, this can't happen. If
Mhm.
I've never seen somebody drink celery juice or have fruit and them go, you're not, just how the trauma happens. And that was a huge motivation, but it's how I see the trauma versus not that it's mine's worse than somebody else's. Because I think anybody who does, you've got to look in a burns unit. I even not going to compete there. Like, to me, I was actually talking about my dad that came up on the weekend, because I was saying, I think a lot of my perception is no matter how bad things got for me, mum would point out the good going
Mhm.
through. When I was sick, she'd still go, I would be, even the other day, when I broke my toe, she goes, well, it's good you got another leg. Okay. And you could see that as offense. A lot of people can get offended. A lot of people will be like, you're not
Yeah.
taking this
True.
seriously. You don't care about me. And I'm like, you're right. Or like, I remember a time when I'd lost my stomach, can't move. And she'd
Mhm.
go, but you've got a sunny window now. And a lot of people can go, you don't understand. I'm going through this. But I was like, yes, mum, I have a sunny window.
Yeah, that was
So
such a great example, Sky. And no, I feel like you're the best person to talk about this because you have gone a lot. And if someone said that, you are the one who put you through this, how sick you became, some people, I think most people would feel so offended. But it's actually the most powerful thing,
it's the most
right?
powerful.
Because now what it means is that you yourself, Sky, has the whole power to take
Yeah.
responsibility of your own life, not your parents who's taking care of you. Yeah, I could say I had a very abusive family. Did it stop me to be, whining and just staying home and how they wanted me to be? No, they wanted me to be a typical Japanese girl who doesn't talk back, who just, get married, have kids, and, never say any of
But
her
Kiko, can
opinion.
I stop you there for a second? Why do you think they wanted that for you? Not because they didn't love you, but because they loved you and thought that was best. So we
Right,
can perceive, yeah. So a lot of people can perceive my parents did all of this, but a lot of the time, a lot of their anger, the way that we're punished is
right, yeah,
they think they are setting us up for a better future. So a lot, I'm
right.
not saying all, definitely not saying all here, but a
Mhm.
lot of where it stems from. Sorry, go on. I just, yeah.
No, that was such a great point. Yeah, thank you, Sky. My parents thought that it's the best way for Japanese girl to be happy. Right? They thought that
Yeah.
getting married to a, being obedient, getting married to a Japanese guy who is successful and have two, three kids, perfect life, right? They thought that was be my happiness. And I said, well, that's not me. So so I went on my own, with my own life. But yeah, it's there. We don't know. That's the thing. We cannot assume if they had a bad intention. We can only imagine or guess. But why focus on others? Just focus on ourselves. We are the only person who we can control, just ourselves.
Yeah. And yeah, I just put psych hospitals are just a place where you don't have rights. I'm just going to put it that way. When it comes, private is very different. I don't know what it's like around the world, but public is like, I had there's people in there have been in jail and they're like, jail is a walk in the park next to this because you've literally got no rights. But I didn't see that as a they problem against me, especially when I came out. I did. I had a lot of choice words to say and what I wanted to do about it. But then when I healed, I was like, you know what? If I look after myself so well, I won't be in there. And yes, there's a lot of things that go on in there and I want to change that. But can I change all the psych units around the world? Only by looking after myself. If I'm strong
Mm.
enough and can glow enough and can change enough of my life, maybe people will listen. And
Mhm.
that is the only thing I truly believe that I can advocate for when it comes to anything, many of the things that happen throughout our life. Um, but I wanted to, there was someone was asking about greens, something about, here, just going a little off topic here, but what's the whole point of eating raw vegan? It's missing many animal nutrients. So every nutrient in an animal has come from a plant.
Mhm.
So that's not true. Also, I was so sick eating meat and also like let them live. Like I just, it was something so strong in my heart. It's like I am happier watching an animal frolic and like be funny and like be fluffy and
Mhm.
like you'll change your whole perception. And then I eat, well, foods like they eat. And I am just like an animal, right? And so that's a huge part. But also I am spiritually awakening. I have all this energy. I love the taste. I feel electric. That's probably the best thing. Like I feel electric. But I mean, I don't even know anybody around who goes on it and doesn't start healing some of their ailments. So
Yeah,
they're some of the reasons.
yeah, great comment, Whirlpool. I really appreciate that. What's the whole point of eating raw vegan? When I tried fully raw vegan diet over 21 years ago, I think that was the first time I felt like living. Like what's like
That's it.
living, I felt it. That I was 29, no, was it 21 years ago? I'm 51, so 30. Yeah, about yeah, 29, 30. I discovered raw vegan, and when I tried it, it's like, wow, I've never felt so good in my whole entire life. And I think it was sort of like a spiritual awakening. I just felt so good from
Yeah.
core, right? So that's why I eat raw vegan.
Part of me actually thinks you can't even address going raw vegan unless your spirit has opened in some way. I mean, you
Mm,
could try it for a day or two, but if you are that person who knows it's the way, even if you have to, it takes a while to get there, I feel
mhm.
like your soul has awakened on this timeline or time you're here uh, for bigger things. I think you can't distinguish that. I say this all the time is I never see a carnivore be like, I ate this way, cured disease, and became enlightened. It's only the raw vegans, and that's like, mind, body, and spirit. It's all why we're here. I think that's huge.
Mhm. Yeah.
Uh, okay, so how are we going for time? Okay,
Yeah. Thank
so
Guy for always checking. I don't get to see all the comments because they're too small now with the vertical and horizontal view. And I really
um,
appreciate everyone commenting. And yeah, we're learning
oh,
from you as well.
yes, I love this. So, and I'm a walking billboard for this. Being crazy somehow seems like the best way to look at reality, and it may be crazy to some people, but I love the fun, edgy, being like a kid. And even my music list said that I'm 31, and
Oh
like I just
yeah,
love,
I saw that.
yeah, like I love like when something, and a lot of my trauma was dealt with this way as well. Is I am blocked from I cannot cry with all I've been through. It's like I'm getting better now, but it's like cry constipation. I don't know. I think my body, when I lost a lot of my
Cry
memory,
constipation. I've
due
never heard that
to
term.
trauma, when I lost all my memory and it started to come back, I think it stopped me feeling pleasure and pain. Stop me feeling. You just stop feeling. It's not like I'm just going to stop you feeling pain. It just stops you feeling. And then I just don't think I've got that part of me back. But a lot of what I did when I healed was crazy stuff where I could act out emotions through music. Like Rihanna's songs that I knew that felt familiar, that I felt comfortable in, like Disturbia, and like I could like let, but I can't. And anyway, maybe my cry constipation. I hope I don't get cry diarrhea. Don't get a flood. Oh God, help me. But yeah, sorry, craziness. I love dancing in the kitchen when I'm making food. I love being just like water fights with my nieces. I love like dancing on the grass in a park. I'm like, because it helps me be free and
Cry
cry
constipation and cry diarrhea. Oh my God, I love this. Oh, I should frame it somewhere. Sky, you're now going
Stop
to
crying. Oh my God, now I'm getting it. Like I can laugh the tears out. I get hysteria. Not about disturbia. I get hysteria. Oh gosh, a good laugh.
this this is gonna make me laugh for months
Oh
after months.
good. Oh good. The last one was the adventure when I woke up and I'm like, and they're like, we're going into Namado. And I'm like, oh, that's Kiko. That's where Kiko lives. It wasn't, it was her book. What does Namado mean?
Nana means raw, do means
I
the
thought it was
way
raw.
of. So
Okay, the raw, and but I'd just woken up from a sleep and I was all dreamy, and YouTube was on, and this guy goes, "Oh, we've just entered Namado," and I'm like, "Oh, this is where Kiko lives. I have to watch." And I'm looking, and then they had to do a cacao ceremony. And when I think of cacao, I think of Jillian, and I'm like, I'm picturing my head because I'm half asleep. I'm like, "Oh, you have to do a cacao." Cacao ceremony.
it's so funny. Oh my God.
And was there something else? Or were they just the two things that I thought there was? Oh, the guy's name. He was sadly he was an amputee, and I thought his name was. Oh, it was just it went on, and I told Kiko, and I told Mum, that's odd. You got my dreams. No one knows what we're talking about here. I don't think.
Yeah.
Like,
We're sorry, but you sent me the video and he was looking so serious and I'm going to Namador and just wild, wild. Yeah.
yeah, and I was picturing you, me, and Jillian walking through Namado after a cacao ceremony. I guess you have to see the video.
This
Sorry,
is
guys.
jungle. Yeah.
I find laughing is very therapeutic.
Mm.
Um, okay, so that's it for this week, guys.
Yeah, and definitely we're not taking your traumas lightly, or we're not taking
No,
anything that you're going through lightly. we are coming from love when we share this. Excuses are everywhere because we just find it much easier to take the full responsibility of our life. And that's how I, came to where I am. Yeah.
And me too. But I will say I wasn't like that before. I would
Mm,
come at everything with, and I was subconscious with a million blocks, and only now of reflection. But then when I felt raw, I was like, Sky, be so for real. What are you capable of doing? And then it
mm,
was like, it opened up my mind to see the bigger picture, that I can only control that future when I actually see that I had control of my past. And yeah,
mm.
even locked up and scheduled 5 times, I still had control. All
Con-
right.
Congratulations to your beautiful life, Sky.
Yeah,
And
and
I'm
yours
so,
and everybody. We want everybody to feel that about their life. Hey,
yeah.
Fox, who's just joined. And we will see you next week. Guys, little reminder, it's about this time. So the time that it started, what time? I don't know, in the US, I think it's 5 p.m. in East Standard, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tomorrow is the Raw Vegan Christmas Party. We've got Lissa, we've got Kiko, we've got Nate, we've got Marcus the Juice Master, we've got JJ. We've got a big party. We've got Marabella, we've got Cecilia coming. Did I miss anybody? I don't know. There's probably more. And we want you to come. We're bringing raw vegan food.
Yay! I'm so excited. Thank you so
Me
much,
too.
Sky, for hosting all this fabulous party. And that's how I stay
Yay.
raw, happy.
Yes. Happy raw. Okay. Bye,
Mm.
guys.
Bye, everyone.